Just looking over, let me open up again your reflection here. Let's see, first of all, do you have any questions about, I was looking also here at the student thesis list. Do you have any questions about uploading this information here from your handout to this page? I had asked everyone to upload the 4 steps from the handout to this main page.
Okay.
So you might want to take a look at this. But basically the idea is to move all the information from the handout to this.
Okay.
So if you could do that also. It looks like, have you copied and pasted the template also? Do you have questions about how to do that?
I don't know how to do that.
Okay. All right. There's 2 ways to do it. I see that you have your literature review here, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think the easiest thing would be to, have you made a lot of changes yet to this?
No, but I decide what I'm going to do with the thesis.
Okay. All right. If you want to keep this information, I think it's easier to start a new document. And if you go into your Google Drive, just like I am here, but in your own, signed in, you can go to File. I'm sorry. Let me go back. I'm sorry. Let's go back here. Go to Thesis Seminar template. Again, making sure that you're signed in to Google Drive, and then go to File, make a copy. And what this does is it'll make a copy to your own Google Drive. So it'll copy exactly this template. You won't have to do anything. It'll include the header, the footer. I see just exactly the way it appears here.
Okay.
And then you'll have like 2 documents. You'll have the template and you'll have this document. Then you can either copy and paste this if you still have information here that you want to use, or if you want to use whatever information, and copy and paste that into this section, which is your literature review. So you'll have the title of your work, which you can add later, and then this will be your literature review. Okay, and at the very end of your literature review, I'm asking everyone to go ahead and add your research questions. And even though they may change, even though maybe you're not 100% sure about your research questions, go ahead and add those. And then I can also look at this and see kind of what direction you're taking your literature review. So I would go ahead and add those here at the end. Go ahead and start organizing your literature review. And just to remind you, the research questions are coming from step 1. The second part where it says, because I want to find out, and then from there you should have some question words that really are your research questions. So this helps me, and it helps you kind of understand the direction of your literature review. So it helps me a lot to see this. I kind of look at this first, and then I go into each one of your thesis to see kind of how you're developing the rest of your paper. Now, if you input this information and later you need to change it, that's fine, but just make sure that all of this content here in each of these 4 steps are directly related and current to what you're doing with your thesis statements. Okay? So give that a shot. If you do have questions about any part of this, editing this page or creating this copy, let me know. And so, okay. Now, talking about your literature review, how are you thinking about organizing this? Because in week 2, I had a link here that talked about developing an argument. So I'd like to kind of talk with you about how you're thinking about organizing your thoughts, if you have like keywords or sections that you're thinking about as far as organizing your work.
Well, I was thinking about change the whole review and find new strategies, because I think I'm going to do an intervention for the thesis.
Okay.
And yeah.
So tell me again your intervention. What are you planning on?
Yeah, I'm planning on find some strategies different from the ones I already have, and then find like 2 or 3 teachers and make them a lesson plan using the strategies I'm going to talk in the lit review, and ask them to perform them and then observe how they work and how.
Okay, so I think if I remember right from our last discussion, the strategies that you think you want to observe from other teachers. Do you think these are strategies that they don't do? Like you don't think that there'll be common strategies that? All right, so that's why you want to do an intervention, right?
Mhm.
All right. And so, how many strategies are you thinking about? Thinking about your intervention, how many? Are you going to look for like one teacher per strategy, or one teacher does implements various strategies? What are you thinking in terms of?
I was thinking like having like 5 strategies maybe, or maybe 6, and then like have one teacher to implement 2 strategies.
Okay. So you have 3. You're thinking about 3 different teachers
Yes.
applying 2 different strategies. And would they be applying 2 strategies in one class, or are you talking about maybe one strategy in one class, or how do you think?
No, yeah, separate. One strategy in one class and then another strategy.
Okay. And then, okay, so what are the 6 strategies? I'm assuming these are the 6 strategies you're going to include in your literature review?
Yes, I'm searching for references right now. I have 6 so far.
Okay. You probably. The idea is that you talk about the strategies that you want to implement in your study. So try
Yes.
not to. Don't feel like you need to include. In fact, I wouldn't recommend including a lot of strategies in your literature review that you don't later research yourself. Now, how are you thinking about organizing these 6 strategies in your literature review?
Well, depends on how. Maybe there can be some relation among them. Or like in my previous lit review, I found a silent way and then the speaking way. So maybe doing something like that.
Okay, so one way might be doing it kind of an implicit versus explicit
Yeah.
type of strategy. Okay. Have you been able to find any research that attempts to do something similar to what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay.
I have some journals that have a similar research.
And can you describe at all the similarities in those other research studies that versus what you want to do?
Well, there was one journal about a teacher that was teaching English to Korean students, and he uses movies to teach pronunciation. And there was another about 2 Canadians trying using, I don't remember what, drills and things like that.
Okay. So my concern, I guess, is just to make sure that these 6 strategies that you're not, because you're talking about, okay, maybe one strategy is drill and practice, another might be using a video, and I'm not sure about the rest of the strategies, but think about the linguistic area that you want to focus on, and I would stick to the same linguistic area. Or, for example, if you're focusing on vocabulary, that all the strategies in some way relate to vocabulary. Or if you're going to focus on one of the skills, reading, writing, listening, or speaking, or grammar, but that you focus more or less on the same linguistic skill area or vocabulary or grammar, so that you're not kind of all over the place.
I'm actually thinking focusing on speaking.
Okay, so all these strategies in some way link some way to speaking, and that way the scope, we keep it kind of narrow, and that we're not talking, and hopefully all of the I don't know how many primary research articles you've found, but try to find those that are related to speaking only.
Yes.
And the different strategies, just to keep this all manageable and keep it from not kind of looking at all kinds of things. So you're not going to be interested so much in the other skill areas that you're just really trying to focus on the one, in this case, speaking. And you could, focus on listening and speaking, if or speaking, but trying not to incorporate a lot of different areas of what you're looking for. And so, all right. So, I think really the question I have is, this literature review that you have here, is this close to how you are thinking about organizing your work, or do you have another idea?
I have another idea.
Okay. All right. All right. So once you start, I would go ahead and start, uploading your literature review, so I can kind of see how you're organizing it.
Mm-hmm.
So we can, because we're really, have you had a chance to look at this developing an argument page? This is really important, and this is what I'll be looking for as far as how you're trying to form your argument in your literature review. So it's not going to be so much presenting information, it's stating an argument. That is, having organizing your claims around your thesis statement, okay, that basically sets out to answer your research questions. So try to, what I would recommend is, when you first get started with your literature review, go ahead and fill out the headings first. Like, do the research questions at the end, complete the headings within bold, and then go in and start filling in the information there, kind of like an outline. It would be kind of like an outline, and I could see kind of the direction you're taking, so I can kind of provide you input or feedback throughout the process, instead of you working the whole time and then presenting something, and then if we have to make a lot of changes. If you can tell me, this is what I'm thinking about, first heading, second heading, third heading, and then from there we can have a discussion about, okay, how do you want to organize your first heading? How do you want to organize? We can even talk about the order in which you're presenting your headings and that type of thing. But I'd like to have that conversation as soon as possible, so you don't work a lot, and later we have to make a lot of changes. I mean, hopefully we don't have to make changes, but this is kind of, I want to be involved in the process as much as possible, but I need to know kind of where you want to take this argument, thinking of presenting the pluses and minuses. So whatever strategy you use, okay, you're going to be proposing, saying this is a good strategy, but not in all contexts. Like, you need to also provide the other perspective to say, okay, this is good for this type of thing, but maybe this strategy is not ideal for this type of strategy. So that you have kind of both sides of the argument. And that's what I talk a lot about in that page, how to develop an argument so that it's not all one-sided. It's not all, this is the way to do it, and it's perfect, and there's no other way to do it, type of thing. Okay, so yeah. So how many primary research articles do you have?
I have 6 so far, but
Okay.
I'm actually thinking of using books, because I didn't use any book for this one, only journals, and I want to use books.
Yeah, you can use a few books. You don't have the primary research articles with you right now, do you? To look
No,
at?
I haven't.
Okay. Feel free to, if you want to bring those in, we can look at them if you're not sure about what you can use, and start to think about the instruments too that you might be able to use. Okay, well, go ahead and start uploading that, and I don't know if you have any other questions about what what you need to do or what you need to try to accomplish.
I think we're
okay, because I think the deadline here for the final draft for the literature review is February 28th, correct? All right, so we still have some time, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah. So maybe for next session, whatever you have finished, we'll look at, and we'll talk again about the organization, about the development of the argument, and if you have any particular questions about APA, we can also address those as well.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So then I guess I'll see you next week, and go ahead if you would please and upload this information in the 4 steps, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. See you.